What is going on, fam? Welcome back to Moto. Today I'm gonna help you guys figure out whether or not you should buy a used Suron or a new Suron. I've bought a ton of Surons. This was actually my first Suron that I bought brand new. All my other Surons I've bought used. A little over a year ago, I bought my first Suron and I actually got it for a really good deal. I paid 2,700 bucks. Nobody was buying these things back then. That was back when these things were a secret, and now everybody wants them. The demand is high. So what happens when the demand is high? Prices go up. I'm making this video because I don't want you guys to overpay for a used Suron because some of these prices are ridiculous. Some people even want more money than what they go for brand new shipped. Don't be fooled. This guide is here to help you. The first thing you want to look for is the aesthetics. Is it clean or is it super dirty? Now, just because it's super dirty doesn't necessarily mean it's in bad condition, but you'll kind of understand how it was treated. Are there scratches all over the frame? Those kinds of things are very difficult to hide because it's basically bare bones, like the frame's outside. You'll know if it's been dropped. And just because it's been dropped doesn't necessarily mean it's in bad condition. The first time riding my first Suron, I crashed. These things can take a beating. So don't let cosmetic imperfections stop you from buying the Suron. In fact, you could use that as leverage to get a better deal. All right, so once you've gone over the cosmetic issues, if there are any, then next thing is battery. Ask the owner to charge up the battery to 100% overnight. That way you could feel it out. You could feel out eco and sport mode and figure out whether or not the battery is losing too much power. Now, just because the battery is draining too much doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad battery. Maybe it just needs to be balanced. Sometimes they don't know that these things need to be balanced. You just ask them to leave it plugged in overnight. Then when you get your hands on it, give the owner the cash, let them hold it, and take it for a really long test ride. Do about 5 to 7 miles and see if the battery is draining like crazy. If the battery was at 100% and you did 5 miles, you're looking at like the low to mid 90s%. Depending on how hard you actually rode the bike, obviously that'll drain more battery. So just be consistent on how you're riding. You don't want to see like a 70% from 100%, right? You don't want to see a 30% drop in battery. That means it's kind of at the end of its life. I really want to stress again how important it is for you to do your due diligence on how well the battery's been maintained. The battery is a really important component of the Suron, if not the most important component. So do your due diligence. So something I've heard of is people swapping out their displays for 0 mileage ones or low mileage ones. Man, what a bunch of a-holes. Look, that's gonna be really easy to tell. It kind of goes back to the condition. Like, does the condition match how the bike looks? If you have a really scraped up Suron and the display looks brand new, red flag. One thing I do want to mention is like, look at the chain. Look at it really well. If it's rusted or like crusty, or you have broken O-rings or that kind of stuff, that kind of tells you how well the owner actually maintained their bike. So I see it all the time in the motorcycle world. People don't clean their chains, they don't maintain their chains. You see like really loose chains, it's terrible. It's terrible how they mistreat our Surons, man. Next thing I want to talk about is the mods, and then we'll get into the pricing. If it has a decent amount of mods like upgraded brakes, upgraded seat, upgraded battery, upgraded controller, that kind of stuff, then you will want to factor those things in. My personal Suron, I'm in about $11,000. Now this bike is almost brand new. I don't have very many miles on it. And if I was looking to buy this bike, I would probably offer somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,500. And I know I'm lowballing myself. That's just what it is. You're never gonna get back what you paid in for the mod. A lot of sellers, for some reason they don't understand that, or they're just not desperate to sell it, or they're just looking for that one buyer who really wanted their bike. Okay, so here's something important to note. These are like $4,400 shipped. I would not pay more than $3,500 for a used one. And I'm talking like a really good condition used one, like maybe under 200 miles. Anything between 500 and 1,000 miles, I would probably pay like $3,300. Anything above 1,000 miles, I would only pay 3,000 bucks. But you know, supply and demand has a funny way of making us overpay for things that we shouldn't overpay for in the first place. I'll let you be the judge. What's it worth to you, and how desperate are you to own a Suron? If you're considering paying $4,000 for a Suron, you might as well get brand new. It comes with a warranty, it's only 400 bucks more, and the new ones they just have the upgraded components. Shipping times didn't really take that long for me to get my Suron. I paid full price and it came in like 2 weeks. All right, let's talk about the components real quick. The 2020 and up has these upgraded brakes, front and rear. They're actually really good. It has the KKE forks. The one you're looking at has the RST Killas. That might be in the 2018 to 2019 years. If it has the D&M Volcanoes, then that might be in the 2019 to early 2020 years. And there's a really significant part about the Suron. Look at the controller. If it has the X, that's the one you want. If it doesn't have the X and you're looking at paying upwards of $3,000, watch out. Play around with the settings. Play around with the preload and rebound and all the adjusters, and make sure they're kind of working correctly. You know, open up the battery tray, take it out, make sure the keys actually match. And then when you take it for a ride, listen to the sounds. Listen to the brake rotors. Is it squealing? Is it making a funny sound? Those rotors could be warped. What you can do is lift it up and spin the tire and make sure that the rotors aren't rubbing excessively. Mine don't squeal, they don't rub. I have them set pretty much perfectly, and I don't know, I haven't had any issues with like squealing or rubbing or... Yeah, I can't hear anything. When I'm out on e-bike rides, that's what I hear a lot from other bikes. Brakes are squealing like crazy. Some of the things that suck on a stock Sur are the tires. I wouldn't worry too much about how worn the tires are because tires are easy to replace and they're cheap enough. These foot peg brackets, the stock ones, they bend. If they upgraded to billet like mine, great. If they didn't, you're gonna wanna upgrade these to the billet ones and actually even put in the support bar that goes right in between it. So once you've test rode it, looked at all the components, made sure it was good, made sure you got a good deal, go out and have fun, man. These things are a blast. Again, I can't stress it enough. Look over your purchase, make sure it's the right price, make sure whatever upgrades that the person has is worth it to you. Consider whether or not you should buy used or new, and most importantly, don't forget to drive off with the keys in your hand.